at the end of the day, he and I are rock solid.
You're rock solid because I pulled out.
First of all, let me take a sip on that.
Take your time. Take your time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. For those of you who are returnees, you ain't got the minerals, baby. Listen, are you muddy, lean, and gege? Listen, remember I always say, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, chile, get out of the kitchen. If you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out, chill. Listen, we're going to be talking to you guys today about don't hate the player, hate the game. And we're talking about specifically Alexis going forward. Remember, make sure you like, share and subscribe if you're new, and also as well click on the notifications bell as well so you get my videos and lets you know what time we will be uploading. So, yes, we're going to talk about Alexis here. So, I think what's been interesting, watching Ready to Love, I know many of you have commented around Alexis. She's been our, I guess, Aaron of the season, where she's really, I wouldn't say got opinions divided. I think most people fall on the side of not particularly liking the way she does certain things. But I think we can all agree that, you know, she has been a form of entertainment on Ready to Love. Now, the important thing is that Ready to Love is a show where we try to find and matchmake people who are ready to love. Unfortunately, it seems the second season has been a bit more leaning towards people who just want TV time, and so what we've seen is less, I guess, genuine formation of relationships and more case of business partnerships rather than anything. But in saying that, we can still analyze psychology, because regardless of whether it's business or not, you know, you're gonna make me fall in love. You're gonna make me fall in love. You're gonna make me fall in love. You can't get away from that. If you like someone, you like someone. If that's what it is, whether it's business or not, you like someone, you like someone. So yeah, we're going to talk about Alexis and just kind of talk about. So I want to break down definitions, because I always like to do that first. What do we mean by game? Now, the traditional understanding of what a game is, the verb of a game means to manipulate a situation, typically in a way that is unfair or unscrupulous. And when we're talking about game, do you have game, or men have game, or men don't have game, or women have game, women don't have game, whatever we're talking about, what we actually mean here is, do you have that sauce? Do you have that juice? Do you have that energy, that little bit of je ne sais quoi? Do you have that confidence that makes me buy into you? I mean, do you have that flow about you that makes me interested in you, that makes me go, ooh, that makes me feel attracted to you? Yeah, it's a bit like the packaging on a particular product. Does that packaging have the right type of, you know, color scheme, wording spacing, word font? You know, does that have the right name and everything that attracts me to? You know, a pair of Nike trainers has a certain type of game to it, because the way that we look at it, so I'm like, oh, them Nikes are hard. It makes me feel a certain way. And so when we're talking about do you have game, we're talking about whether you have that flow, that energy, that talk, that spice, that nuance, you know, there's something about you that makes people want to go, I want to know more. Yeah, does that person have that? And then there's a type of game where it goes on to the point where it becomes manipulative and unscrupulous, meaning the game is being used to bamboozle and actually begin to, I guess, take advantage of the grey area. Yeah, and if you haven't ever seen my grey area, watch my videos on situationship. In fact, I probably should do a video solely based on the grey area. Let me write a note on that, because, you know, I need to remember that. It's a video now. The grey area. Yeah. What that is. Yeah. What is that? Boom. Alright, got another video for you guys. We're coming out soon. So, we're talking obviously about game and how people can use that in a positive or negative kind of aspect. Obviously, life itself is a game. Yeah, there's a way to, because we're talking about how to play this game. There's a way to play it to make yourself win. When it comes to relationships, there is certain types of game that one has to play to make themselves win. Now, there are different types of games with different ways to win, with different end goals, right? Snakes and ladders isn't Monopoly. You know what I mean? Monopoly isn't Cluedo. Cluedo isn't Ludo. Do you know what I mean? They are different games with different strategies with different with the same end result, which is to win. Yeah. Now, how you win is different for each individual game. And I think I mentioned this in another video where I said that certain people may see Alexis. And I've seen some of your comments. Some people may think that Alexis is playing a game and she lost the game. And I was saying to you, depending on what game you think she's playing. If you think she's playing a game to love, then you may see that she potentially has lost the game. If you see her playing a game for mental ego stroking, then potentially she hasn't lost the game, she's won. Because her ego was stroked. Now, she may have, towards the end, felt a bit emotional and actually came out of her shell too much and couldn't confine herself to the game, and actually her coolness and exterior that was saying I'm like this, I'm like that. The bubble was burst with the conversation with Divine, where she literally, just became mad.
Girl, bye. That's not even my style. Trust me, she don't want this smoke, Tommy. I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. You don't want this smoke. Trust me, I want it. I want all of it.
Yeah, and just started saying things which didn't need to be said, and just I felt that she was lying and just doing a lot of things which necessarily the way it came about wasn't in her best interest, right? So if she's playing the mentalist game, then she's winning, because her objective was never to win man. Now I said to you that she focused so much on London. I said that in the beginning I didn't really like her. The reason why I didn't like her is because instinctively as a male, when you see women who are playing, who are doing game, yeah, who think they're gang, who think they're A1, who think they're levels, something in me doesn't like it. But that's something in me. But when I began to understand what she was about and what she's trying to achieve, I had to look at myself introspectively, yeah, meaning to take account and study oneself and examine the way I behave. And I said, parts of what she does, I have. I cannot cuss her. And when I say cuss her, I mean in the sense of I cannot demonize her. I can say that someone's wrong, but I can't demonize her. Not just because I've got similar traits, but because these are things in all of us. Yeah? And some of us are cussing Alexis, but you're passively aggressive. What I've come to understand about passive aggressive, you want to do the same, but you don't have the balls to do it. I'm not saying everybody wants to do it. Listen, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying everybody wants to do it. I'm saying there are parts of us that want to do stuff like what Alexis does. Have the confidence to say certain things and do certain things and play around certain things. But don't do it because we rather not do it. Not because it's the right thing to do, but rather we don't think we have the balls to do it. We don't have the kahunas to do it, the confidence to do it, the game to do it, the looks enough to do it, the attractiveness to do it, the market to do it. We don't feel like we have these things in place. And I've always said this, look, about having pretty privilege, that some of us who are not as good looking, yeah, tend to cuss people who are pretty at anything. Why? Because you feel like they're privileged. Listen, it's a grace to be beautiful. It's a grace to be handsome. You don't buy beauty. You can do surgery and stuff like that. But most of us who are, are naturally beautiful, yeah, or naturally handsome, yeah, they don't buy that. It comes with the territory of what God has made them to be. And that's why we call it a grace, meaning it's unmerited and unearned. It's a favor from the Lord to you. He's given it to you. It's favorable. Some of you are favorable in your mindset. You know how to make money. Some of you are favorable with encouragement. You know how to encourage people. Some of you are favorable that you can dance, you can sing, you can act. Some of you are triple threats. Some of you are only one. There is different things God has given each individual person, which is a favor unto you, meaning it is not earned. It is given unto you, right? So beauty is one of those things. Now, when we're talking about Alexis and talking about the game, right? I didn't like her at first. I really didn't. But as I said, I began to understand what she was trying to achieve. Now, she might have got, her objective kind of got lost slightly. And this is where it becomes difficult when you're playing game. Because inevitably, anybody playing game always loses. Whether it's a mentalist game, whether it's I want to have sex with a gal or sex with a man, and whatever, it is always a losing game.
When it comes to London, I definitely think that he's been playing the both of us. It's starting to feel like he's moving around like a shyster. His words to me have always been, protect our bubble. This is our story. Don't let anyone interfere with that. And he would always say, well, if you're not a part of this journey, I no longer want to be a part of it.
Why? Because truthfully, we all want meaningful relationships. No matter how dark you think you are, you want meaningful relationships, yeah? And out of those meaningful relationships, because of human being nature, which is to be sociable, to have company, to have a group, to want to always try to dominate, cheat, manipulate people, either you are a full-blown narcissist and gone onto the path of psychopath, yeah? Or generally, you are just looking for something and not sure how to attain it. And so you manipulate your way into this unscrupulously. Do you get it? Like when men cheat on girls and sleep with different girls and they seem to have no remorse, they're either full-blown narcissists or they are people who are hurt and do not know how to fix hurt inside of them. So one of the things I was learning about introspection is about self-defense mechanisms, that we all have self-defense mechanisms that we roll through and we do. And in the case of that, a lot of us have thorns. I think there was a story I read which is about the lion that has a thorn in its paw and it kept on roaring at a certain town. And then there was a young man who went into a cave and found himself with a lion. And the lion was roaring a little bit, and then the young man, unafraid, approached the lion and found out there was a thorn in the palm of in the paw of the lion. And once it took it out, the lion became a friend of the individual. What does that mean? It means that, when we're talking about introspection, talking about, really trying to dive deep into why we do things, because that's what this channel is about. It's about the why we do things. You start to realize that if you're not a full-blown narcissist, and even then there's a why. Why did you become a narcissist? Why did you become a psychopath? There's all these whys. If you're not those things, and you're genuinely a human being that is broken or hurt, you'll find out there's a thorn that's in you that you've not dealt with. And that's causing the issues. When I see some of my boys in the past who are moving mad and acting with different gang, I was no different in the sense of I didn't sleep with them, but I was sending them dreams. I would get them to an emotional place where they would say they would like me, and then I'll pull away because my job is done. I'm a mentalist gamer, not somebody who sleeps with girls. Yeah, I was selling dreams. Understand? Do you understand? So there's different ways to play the game. I was excited by the fact that a girl would feel me, like me. We'll get to a point where, the girl may not like me in the beginning, then I got her to like me. I'll be like, rah, okay, I don't need to play no more. I don't need it anymore. Yeah, I win. You understand? And that's what people are struggling with, because the I win is a form of power. Yeah, it's a form of power. Many of us, especially black, feel like we've been stripped of power from day one. Depending on your environment, how you grew up, depending on your parents, how your parents, dealt with you, depending on how you schooled and stuff like that. Maybe you were the ugly duckling in school and became the banging gal or banging man. Maybe it was that your parents never said anything nice to you, and then you get men to compliment you or women to compliment you all the time. Maybe you never had someone, all your birthdays, your parents never tried anything to even make your birthday special. So what happens? You go out in the world and you get the opposite sex to buy you gifts all the time and to do this and do that for you. And it's like there's so many reasons why. Maybe your daddy issues, maybe you got mummy issues. There are so many reasons why as people play the game, either in a mentalist capacity or sleeping in a physical aspect of gaming. And that's why I started to understand Alexis, because you are Alexis. You watching my show are Alexis. Yeah, a lot of you are. Not everybody, but a lot of you are. A lot of you, reason why you don't like Alexis is because you see yourself in Alexis, or you don't even realize that you see yourself in Alexis. There's parts of you that do what she do, which is you are seeking for power. You're seeking for taking the thorn out of your side, but not sure how to do it. In fact, you're not sure where the thorn is in you. So for me to be able to do this channel, I was saying we're going to 2020, because this is these next few videos will be releasing about going into 2020. We're going into 2020 not the same. We want to go into 2020 different. 2020 is all about development. We're going to be looking at how to really delve deep and actually looking at how we're going to transform ourselves with information and knowledge at hand. The Bible says a lack of knowledge we perish. Yeah? So we need to be able to renew our minds. Back onto Alexis and talking about the game.
Because I pulled out.
If I was still interested in London, he would still be on the fence with his big ass, hanging on for dear life.
The game is rigged. The game is rigged for you to lose. Okay? When you issue game, the game is rigged for you to lose. Because once you start playing a game, and I'm not talking about the game where you're good looking or not even good looking, you have something about you that makes people want you. I'm talking about the game where you become manipulative and unscrupulous. When you begin to issue into that, there's always a loss. Always. Because you want something, but you don't want to be doing this in a manipulative manner. Imagine you went and got a girl in a manipulative manner, or a man in a manipulative manner, with the unscrupulous game. You can never fully trust that person that you're with because you can't trust yourself. Because you know that if you can play the game, they can also potentially play the game. And that creates a distrust. Straight away. That's a losing battle. And now your mindset is now messed up. This is why a lot of times when guys cheat, they say, I don't trust women. No, you don't trust you. Because you're the bastard that went out and started cheating. And you started moving mad. And you started taking other girls from other man and started doing this and that. And because of your deceit, because you're seeing darkness, you know that means potentially darkness can exist in other people. So now you don't trust the You understand? So that makes sense. You know what I mean? I hope you're following what I'm saying. So let's go back to Alexis and talking about what we're talking about. Well, I feel like the game also, I think one of the points that was really alluded to, I think, especially in the US, I think more, it's not as much in the UK because I feel like colour is an issue, colorism is an issue, but it's not as, I would say, it's not as deep and prevalent as the Americas where it permeates every walk of life in America. In the UK, it does permeate. We see it in our musicians. We see it in, how people view hair and the politicalness of it and the politicalness of skin tone and women as well and their beauty standards. We see that. But I just don't think it's as zoo as it is in America. Like everything in America is politics to do with colour. So in the sense of dealing with Alexis, I can understand a lot of women commenting about the colour aspect. And I will say this, for an American standard, I think, the game is rigged in a way that, yes, the dark-skinned woman cannot as easily play the game as a lighter-skinned woman, okay? This is clear, yeah? Now, someone, so as I was doing the videos earlier this season, someone else pointed out about Nina and Alexis, and I rejected it, and I still reject it. Here's why. Alexis was Nina was very anti and very introverted, showing a lot of emotion very early on. Yeah, and I told you that from the moment I saw her in the first VT. I said this girl is very emotional, wears her heart on her sleeve, she's gonna get damaged. You can't play the game like that. Do you understand? Like if Kimber had a bit more strength about her, she could have played the game as Alexis did. But because Kimber doesn't have that energy, you see, it's not just about good looks. You understand? Because I personally think, well, that's my personal opinion, I think Kimber looks better than Alexis. But in the sense of the fact that it's about the energy. It's about the way you move. It's about the way you talk. It's about the way that you implement yourself. It's the way that you dress. It's the way that the way you are, and that permeates through every single thing that you do. Have you got sauce? You understand? Have you got the sauce? When you have, yes, you may not be as beautiful as maybe Alexis is a certain type of look that men like, or even the fact that she's light skinned. Okay, but the thing is, she's got sauce. There's something about Alexis, her confidence is attractive. Yeah, that's what I found attractive about Alexis, not her light skin. I don't even like dating light skinned women. I'm gonna be very honest. I like my girls dark skin. I'm just being real. I like black women. Do you know what I mean? So, not to say that light skinned women aren't black. It's again to say that my preference is to date a darker skinned woman. That's just how I like it. Do you understand? But that could be also because of my childhood. I was getting parred by light skinned women, but then I got parred by dark skinned women. I just happened to choose dark skinned women because I see myself in them. So it's like not to this. And again, I'm not saying any light skinned women shouldn't approach, because you know what I mean. Hey, my guy, listen, love is love. You understand? So in dealing with Alexis, yes, there would have been some privilege in the sense that because she's light skinned, she would have got away with a little bit more than potentially a darker skinned woman. But beauty is capital, and this is the most important thing about the game. Beauty is capital, and that must be understood. The more beautiful you are, the more privilege you're going to receive, especially from the opposite sex. Even me, I fall foul of this, and I know it, and sometimes I have to check myself. So obviously, when it comes to Alexis dealing in the game, there would have been some allowances. Like, all the men were on Alexis, but no one else played the game like Alexis. So in this particular case, it's harder to say, oh, there was a bit of colorism. But the colorism probably potentially could be showing the fact that they prefer a light-skinned woman, and I can understand that. That may be something that people could see. I don't see it as such, because I'm from the UK perspective. But in this particular case, when I look at it from just looking from an observer point of view, do I think Alexis' light-skinnedness played a part? Potentially not, but I can understand that that men choosing her on a preference on the fact they had their own colorist ideas, potentially may have done. But beauty again is capital. If Kimber had that energy that Alexis had, we could have really seen whether there was capital in the colorism aspect as well. So I wanted to talk about so I want to make this point as well, that there is a clear agenda against dark-skinned women, right? And maybe I'll make a separate video for this as well. And I would love to get some female. And I'd love to get some females on this topic as well, because I think it will be a key topic where we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the fact that dark-skinned women, whenever let's say they were to play the game, they potentially could be labelled as aggressive, too much, loud, rude, obnoxious, arrogant, before they've actually really done anything much. That's where colorism really plays a part, because the ideology or the viewpoint or perception of black women when it comes to certain things towards other women of different colours and races is huge. Just for instance, like the black girl is loud and then the Latino girl is sexy when she's been aggressive. It doesn't make sense. But that's the conditioning that we've seen from the programming of the world that we live in. And so we'll talk some more about being black and talking about those kind of things as well. And actually we'll talk about some of my experiences that I've had with black women, because they've not all been positive. If I'm honest, some of you black women are freaking rude. And some of you are obnoxious and arrogant. And if God had not, I guess, blessed me to open my eyes to see things not from my own experience, but actually trying to look outside the scope of what I've just experienced, I may have become one of those guys who go, black women are like this. Because how I grew up, some of these black women were so hella rude. I'm just sorry, like, that had been my experience. And some of the white girls I encountered weren't as rude. And that's just honest truth. Like, if I was to get rejected, the white girl might say, sorry, I'm not really interested. The black girl's like, what made you think you can actually get with me? Like, and then so if you have that 3 or 4 times, what do you think is going to happen? Do you get it? So, but again, you have to look outside those experiences. And as I did, I started to encounter really positive black women who, to be honest, I dismissed that idea of those aggressive women, because actually I understood, right, no, that's a section of people. And maybe that's my problem too. I was looking at a certain type of gal. That's my problem. I've got to look at that too. So that's another issue as well. But let's talk about, I think the reasons why, especially men may not like Alexis, or reasons why men do like Alexis. I think a lot of men are attracted to Alexis because of her confidence, her energy, her vibe, and her fearlessness. You see, that fearlessness to get in our face and communicate makes us like, it's a duel. It's a duel, and it's not a duel of egos at the moment. It's a duel of cat and mouse, and you're willing to play. That makes me want to, and you're kind of moving away. There's a little bit of a chase that's going on, and that makes us energized. That makes us the hunter mode come out of us men. I think one of the reasons why men might not like her is the fact that she isn't conforming to their manipulation. A lot of men play the game unscrupulously, hoping to control the woman, and Alexis, for most of the time, didn't conform to that.
High five. I'm done with this conversation.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm done. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm going to call it a night.
All right? And a lot of men who are very controlling and domineering would not have liked Alexis because they can't tame the shrew. And that would have caused them issue and pain and annoyance, because once you're trying to suck somebody into a particular area and try to put them into a certain box so that you can control them, she wouldn't have been one of those girls that you can try that to. And that would have been a source of pain for a lot of guys who play game unscrupulously. Obviously, she has a lot of confidence, but sometimes that confidence can, I guess, fall into a category of arrogance as well. And that arrogance is a turn off for men and for women. When you see someone that's obnoxious and arrogant, it's like, why are you doing that for? Like, you're not better than anybody else. And that's what arrogance does to you. Not only that as well, that normally comes from a place of pride. And there's that pride. Pride is not an attractive trait. It really isn't. Because it's a self-defense mechanism that often people use as a way of kind of show that I'm better than you. And nobody wants to feel like someone thinks they're better than them. Nah, dog. Never that, fam. You understand? Never that. You're not better than man. Ever. Do you get it? And that's what can enlist. I think also as well, her confidence can also work against her. Because a lot of guys who play game aren't that confident. You'd be surprised. A lot of guys who you see as having game, is actually a covering. Because remember, it's an unscrupulous game. We're not talking about the game of confidence, naturally. That game where it's unscrupulous and manipulative, where you're almost using narcissistic traits or using certain tricks to bring people into your game for females, is actually a mask for your insecurity for a lot of men. And so when they see that this girl has actually got confidence, it can actually trigger their insecurity because they are seeing that someone's got confidence and they haven't really got confidence, but they've mastered the game. You understand? And so that can make you think a certain way and make a man go, oh, I don't like her. And they don't know why they don't like her. Do you get it? So sometimes, and this is also for women too, sometimes women don't like Alexis because they too have an insecurity within them. And when they see that her confidence, we don't even know if her confidence is real. We don't even know if Alexis' confidence is truly confidence. It could be her also masking some pains. But because you see that and you see some success of what she's doing, your insecurity is flaring. It's real. It's real. Some men also feel like they have a claim to women. And when that girl is pretty, smart, intelligent, and actually someone might call it hypergamy, where she looks above the certain level. Certain men are like, you can't tell me you're not on my level. That's mad. Like, you can never tell me I'm that. And some men's pride will never allow someone to feel like they are not working on a level. Listen, let's be freaking 100% honest. It's not just beauty, but if you have beauty, finance, your stuff together, you're a well-rounded individual, there's a certain level you're going to be hitting. And you may not be on that level. I understand it. I have a certain level. You have a certain level. You know what I'm saying? I can approach Megan good, like she's obviously in a relationship with Devon, and Devon ain't trying to do nothing. I may have a certain level, yeah, but I already know that potentially I'm not going to be on the level of Megan Good. It's not just her looks. It's the fact that of her status too. It's her financial power. You understand? She will want a certain caliber of man, and I am not of that certain caliber financially, status-wise, and I may not also be the physical appetite for her. And you must understand your level. It's when people are coming out of the level that there's problems. Not to say you can't ascend a level, or not that you, do you know what I mean? Some people can put you in a level where you're not really at that level, but I'm just saying that in the sense of there are some levels, there's some lines that happen, and certain guys don't like it when certain girls are in a certain echelon and they feel it's their duty in their place to humble a chick. You understand? And it's just mad. That's how people get into things like throwing acid in a girl's face, punching up a girl, fighting girl, you know what I'm saying? Doing derogative, verbally abusive, because they feel like this girl, how dare she try and do something? Never that. I can never be disrespected. And it's not even a disrespect, it's just like you think this person should be in your league, or you think you're in their league, and then you think you have an entitlement to that. Again, pride. And the truth is, some guys are just hypocrites. They're unwilling, they're hypocrites to the game, because they play the game, but as soon as the game gets played on them, they don't want it. Listen, let me be honest with you, I'm like this. In fact, I said this to somebody the other day. I said, listen, I'm a person that likes to have control when I'm dealing with relationships. When I say control, I'm meaning I like to know when this is happening, when this is happening, when this is happening. Like, I like to know that if I call you, you're going to pick up. If you're not that kind of person, I know that you're not the kind of person. So I know if I call you, you're not going to pick up. I already know that already. If I see that you might be trying to play a little game, I'm like, but no, I'm the only one that can play a game here, baby. Don't play that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. You understand? Like, you can't do that. There's only room for one of us to do that in this room. And sometimes there's parts of me that's in me. That's the dark side of me that I have in me, and I'm working on it. That's why 2020 is going to be better. And you know, all of us have parts of ourselves in ourselves. And so what I'm saying, when I'm saying about men, we can be hypocritical. We say, no, you can't do it, but I can do it. Very much hypocritical. How dare you? You have no space to tell anybody that. Do you understand? And that's the truth of where guys are. And I think one of the last things that guys don't like Alexis is also because, or girls like Alexis, because she has options. You see, certain men want to restrict it, want to make sure they don't have a lot of options because they want to be the best option. So yeah, a lot of guys don't like that. Certain girls have options because they know it's power, which we'll do a video on that as well very soon, coming in 2020. So, there's a lot of reasons why men don't particularly like Alexis and maybe the way she moves. Obviously, yes, she's got a vicious mouth. That's also another thing. But that only we only saw that come out when it was talking about Divine. We never saw it beforehand. And most people didn't like it before then. So, I look at it and I go, yeah, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? We never saw any rudeness from Alexis in the beginning. We never saw any derogativeness or madness. But it was only with Divine when I saw certain aspects she was doing, calling, fat man hanging on or big man hanging on or whatever. And I was like, no, that's not right. Women don't like Alexis, I think, because, again, beauty is always something that people are jealous over. I've noticed this, especially around women. When another girl's really pretty, certain girls cannot take it. There is other girls who are very complimentary, and there's other girls who just seem to be very, 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 very nitpicky about another girl when she's pretty. I don't understand why guys like her anyway. Maybe observe what she's doing. Observe what she brings to the table. Maybe even tap into what she's even doing. Ask her about her mindset. Maybe you'll get what she's saying. Maybe you get what she's doing. Do you get it? Because as much as when I see someone that I know that someone like Alexis, she'll always get mad. As much as people don't like it, no matter as much as people may think to herself she's vile, she's vicious, whatever, she's always gonna get mad. One, because she's pretty, and two, because actually she's got substance. She has got substance, and that's the truth. She's intelligent. She knows where she's going. She knows what she's doing. And as much as there's uncharacteristics which we don't really like, she's always going to get a man. Now, whether she settles with those men, different. And that alludes to a point that someone else made that, Alexis played the game but didn't win. It's like, you don't know what game she was playing. If she was playing to capture London, then potentially she lost the game. But if she was playing to play with London, she won the game. Because in the end, she won. She played. And obviously, I think what really hurt her was more the case of the fact that Divine was getting one up on her. Which is that, even if it's a mentalist game, Divine was getting one up on her because she made it feel like Divine was one getting chosen and Alexis was getting rejected. And Alexis couldn't have that. Do you get it? She just couldn't have that. This is why women don't like Alexis also, like I said, it's because she does things that women wish they could do but can't do. Again, it's not everyone, but I think she does things that a lot of women can't do. Because I noticed this, that when girls, like I said, have a lot of male attention, like for instance when you're in an office and there's a girl in there that you may think it's not even that pretty, but she has all these guys chasing after her, and you hear other girls I don't know why they like her. It's because she has something about her. I know it's leading back to the first point, but it's she has something about her. She's doing something, and because of that, you feel what's this about her that makes you guys want her? And actually, you wish it was you. And you're like, no, I don't even care if it was me. But that's a self-defense mechanism. You do care. You wish it was you. Let's be honest. Sometimes I look at other guys and see the way they pull in girls without even doing anything. I'm like, man, I got to dance and sing first before they even see me, my guy. You just got to stand there. That's amazing. I don't hate him. I just go to the family. I respect it. Because at the end of the day, you do what you do. See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just it's not even short, a video on Alexis and the game and not hating on Alexis, but yeah, we want to really appreciate that. It depends on what game she was playing, whether she lost or won. But I hope you guys let me know your thoughts. What's your thoughts down below? I mean, do you agree with what I've said? Maybe you disagree. Let's talk about this down below in the comment section. I want to have hundreds of comments. Let's have that conversation. Do you get me? And if you're new to my channel, listen. Don't be afraid to get involved in discussions. Some of you are making some really incredulous, great points. I said incredulous. You're making some really incredible points down below. And I'm actually learning myself. So make sure you comment down below. Remember, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. And also, press that bell button because you want to know when I'm always uploading videos. But let's have a discussion down below. Let's talk about this. What do you think about Alexis? What's your true sentiment? After I said what I said, do you disagree? Do you agree with what I've said? Let me know, and let's go from there. Appreciate you.